Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every weekday. Pod Up, because we are Gator fans. So say, it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning. Of course, coming to you from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. As I'm Terry Norvelle in for Shane Matthews. Let me make a couple of quick alterations here, Mr. Evan Miller, as I've got to turn some audio off. How about right there? How's that, Evan? We doing okay? As we're moving and grooving. There we go. Got a thumbs up from Evan Miller, and we're off and running. Tuesday edition, May 17th, Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning. Terry Norvelle in for Shane. Shane will be out today on business and tomorrow. And Shane will be back on Thursday, I believe, with Brent Beard on Thursday. That's always a fun segment during the week here on Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning. Again, coming to you from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. A lot today on the plate. Hope to have you on as well, reading some of your Facebook Live comments and questions, things like that. We're trying to catch up with Buddy Martin, which I know Shane does every Tuesday. Want to bump a bunch of topics around Buddy Martin, the old Wiley veteran. Buddy, we got a lot of stuff to ask him I'd like to get to, and we'll hopefully catch up with Buddy Martin. A little bit later, of course, you know the show by now. We'll have our This Day in Sports. I think you're going to enjoy it. Kind of a Major League Baseball This Day in Sports, as we are really zooming into the through the first quarter of the baseball season. Of course, that is brought to you by Comfort Temp. A lot of stuff to get to, including a lot of Gator talk, Gator baseball, a successful weekend at Missouri. They take 2 of 3. Really think they should have got that third, but 2 of 3, you win a series. Florida moving on to the final series. They got Florida State tonight in a midweek game, do the Gators. Tonight, Florida State will play their final regular season game in Gainesville, and then Florida will host South Carolina. One of the lower ranked teams in the SEC are the Gamecocks, so Florida at worst really needs a series win. A sweep would be nice, but a series win for Florida baseball would help. Again, Florida, are they playing a lot better? I think so. Are they playing inferior competition? A little bit of that as well, but Florida right now taking wins any way they can get them as the Gators look to be turning the corner a little bit. Boy, they could really, really use Judd Fabian to start swinging the bat, though. Fabian in a atrocious slump right now. He could really help Florida out if he got swinging the bat well. Hits the home run occasionally, but boy, he's got a little Dave Kingman working where it's home run or strikeout, and he is in a tough spot. The Florida baseball winning games, that's what they need to do, as they will most likely be on the road in the regionals. Now, Hoover comes up first. The SEC baseball tournament, of course, comes up next week, and then the regionals, super regionals, and World Series. Gator softball going pretty well. Florida had a tough loss against Arkansas, where really self-inflicted loss. Tough infield play for the Gators, and Arkansas, the number 1 seed in the SEC softball tournament, got by Florida 4-1, and really the Gators gifted that game to Arkansas. Florida, I think, is playing a lot better. Adams is back. The Gators will host, and they are bracketed up with the Blacksburg Regional. So if Florida, the softball team, can win their regional in Gainesville, they would either go to Blacksburg if Virginia Tech wins, or if Virginia Tech is upset, Florida could host a super regional. Don't forget now, just because you're not a top 8 seed in softball doesn't mean you don't get a chance to host a super regional. If all 8 of the top seeds win, of course, they get to host a super regional, but there will be some upsets most likely along the way. Florida softball looking pretty good. And if you're a Gator fan, obviously, if you're watching, you're most likely a Gator fan. You want to keep one eye on that Blacksburg softball regional because Florida, the Gainesville and Blacksburg, they are bracketed together. Boy, you want Virginia Tech, who's playing real well. Virginia Tech baseball and softball having really good years. But if Virginia Tech could get upset and the Gators can win in Gainesville, Florida would host a super regional. Speaking of softball, and the #1 team in the nation. Last Friday, when I hosted this show, we real quickly we got some talk about some talk about Oklahoma. They're the #1 team in the nation. Oklahoma, the softball team for the Sooners, they jumped out to a 36-0 record, set a record in softball. UCLA had the record at 35-0. But Oklahoma jumped out to a 36-0 record, set the record in softball. They are currently 49-2 overall. But file this under anything can happen when you get into postseason play. Oklahoma over the weekend did not win the Big 12 softball championship. Oklahoma State upset Oklahoma 4-3 to put that second loss on the Sooners. So Oklahoma State is actually technically the Big 12 softball tournament champions. Oklahoma does not win the softball tournament championship in the Big 12, but boy, they are the odds-on favorite to win it all. They're the defending champions. Now, I bring up Oklahoma a little bit because obviously we know Texas and Oklahoma will be entering into the SEC in a year or two. It'll be decided here with finances and things like that. But don't look now. But the SEC better be ready. Oklahoma brings a big-time athletic program. Not to shun Texas, but man, we know about Oklahoma football. Oklahoma softball is as dominant as they are out there. They're the defending champions. They've won 5 softball tournaments. Oklahoma gymnastics just won the national championship. Oklahoma basketball, men's basketball, they went to a Final Four as recently as 2016. Oklahoma, when they join the SEC, will strengthen that conference like I don't know if you have thought that through all the way through. Oklahoma will really bring a big-time athletic program into the SEC, and it's it'll be well received. It'll just make the SEC that much stronger. Texas is not exactly chopped liver, but boy, Oklahoma, they're just good in a lot of stuff. They're really good in a lot of stuff, and they're going to bring. I mean, think about it. Oklahoma is the odds-on favorite to win the softball championship, and I know there's a long way to go. The Sooners could be bringing a softball and a gymnastics national championship right to the SEC women's side. We know how good they are. You know, they play pretty good baseball. They've been in a little bit of a slump. They haven't been out to the College World Series in baseball in a while, but Oklahoma won the baseball national championship as recently as 1994. They play good baseball, obviously good football. They flare up in basketball. Again, they went to the Final Four in 2016 in men's basketball. That is one heck of a athletic program that's going to be coming in along with Texas. Trying to get some of these Facebook Live comments here. Of course, Meldon Law. Want to give a shout out to Meldon Law, one of the great sponsors here on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning. Meldon Law, the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Trying to get to some of these Facebook Lives. Now, Terry praised the Oklahoma golf team. I'm assuming they're good in golf. They're good in everything. Oklahoma has a big-time athletic program, well-rounded. Not that Texas doesn't, but, man, the Sooners are just going to really strengthen the they're going to strengthen the SEC, top to bottom, men and women's sports. It's going to be something. It really is going to be something when they get in. And how good is Oklahoma's athletic program? They're kind of putting a shadow over they're kind of putting a shadow over the Texas athletic program. Texas, disappointing, really. When you look at the big boy sports, football and basketball, Texas got to pick it up a little bit. They really do. But I mean, great addition, Texas, Oklahoma. Friday, we kicked around a little bit here on this show when I was the guest host. We talked about what the ACC is proposing, and I love it. I love it, by the way. That pod, that's the 2-5-5 talk that the ACC is throwing out. I love that scheduling system that the ACC is talking about. The SEC should pick it up. The SEC in football should go 9 games and do a 3-6-6. Keep in mind, when Oklahoma and Texas come in, the SEC will have 16 teams. That works perfect. 3 permanent, 6 this year, and then 6 different the following year. You will play everybody in that scenario. If you go to 9 conference games, you will play everybody in 2 years. Every 2 years, you will place everybody. You'll play 3 permanent, and 3 permanent is plenty. I don't care if you're Georgia. I don't care if you're Florida, Alabama, Auburn, LSU. If you get to handpick your 3 permanent, you will not miss any of the traditionals that you have to play. If Alabama gets 3, of course, they play Auburn, they play Tennessee, and probably LSU. Florida, obviously, Georgia, and Tennessee, depending on how they do the pods and things like that, they would play Georgia and they would get their Tennessee. You would cover all of your must-play games with your 3 annual games, 6 teams of the rest this year, and the other 6 teams wrapping up the rest of the conference slate the second year. Every 2 years, you would see everybody and be playing everybody. I love that idea. The ACC kind of was the first one I saw kicking that around, and I absolutely love that idea. Now, the SEC's got to go to that 9 game. Then you still have 3 games outside of conference. You can go play a national game. You can play a money game if that's still in play when all this changing and moving around happens. We were hoping to hear from Buddy Martin. I really wanted to get Buddy's thoughts on all the movement that we know is coming up in college athletics and college football in particular. We started touching on that a little bit on Friday, so I'll hold out and hang tight before I bring those topics up, and maybe Buddy will check in with us here on a Tuesday edition of Caught Up with Matthews in the morning. Getting back to Gator baseball real quick, and I hate when fans do what I'm about to do, because it's really not fair when you start saying, well, our team, if this went our way and that went our way, we would have won the game. I'm a firm believer that the other team gets to say that as well. But Gator baseball, we went over the choppiness of the season on Friday, how crazy the season. It started with a series loss to Liberty. Florida really laid an egg in several series. They got bombed by LSU. Tennessee, of course, is bombing everybody in baseball, but Florida got swept out of Athens. There were 2 or 3 games, though. The first game in Athens, the final game at Alabama, and that one game that Missouri won over the weekend. 3 games Florida should have won. If the Gators had won those 3 games, their record looks a lot better. And I know you can say, well, the Gators probably, like most teams, stole a game or 2 somewhere along the way. I get that. But, boy, a couple of those games that they had no business losing. I mean, Florida could be sitting at 35 wins instead of 32. Tonight, the Gators take on FSU. FSU hanging on in the top 25 in baseball. The ACC is playing good baseball, as a matter of fact. A really good year for the ACC in baseball and softball. I should say going into postseason. Postseason makes it and or breaks it. But the ACC is really playing good ball in the regular season, softball and baseball. They've got a lot of programs that have reared their head, particularly in baseball. Maryland's having a good year. Virginia Tech's having a really good year in baseball. The traditionals, Miami's jumped into the top 10, Louisville. Good year for the ACC. A bit of a down year for the SEC right now, but everything is determined in postseason play. We will see how that goes. Unique that the defending national champion in baseball, Mississippi State, it looks like they won't make the SEC baseball tournament. How about that? That is a turnaround. Now, if you're going to have a down year, have it coming off of a national championship. That softens the blow a little bit. But Mississippi State baseball, I think they're under 500 right now. Sorry, John pointed out Maryland is in the Big Ten. Yeah, I'm still. I'll have trouble with that for a long time. I've still got Maryland thinking, and they should be in the ACC. But again, Maryland's another example of a team just having one of those good baseball years. They're not a perennial power in baseball. Speaking of postseason tournaments, what isn't it? South Carolina getting back to the SEC softball tournament. No, Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is the only team. They don't play softball. South Carolina, I think, is the only team that didn't get a bid to a regional in softball. 12 of the 13 SEC softball playing programs are going. I think it's South Carolina. They're sitting out there not going to postseason play and joining Vanderbilt, but Vanderbilt doesn't play softball. They don't have a women's softball program. So, man, if you are South Carolina, and I believe the Gamecocks are the only team that didn't get in the tournament. Ow, that's got to hurt. That has really, really got to hurt. Let me tell you, at South State Bank, we understand that small businesses need a community business partner that they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking forward, member of the FDIC. Also want to tell you folks about Celebration Point. You know by now, if you're in and around the Alachua County area, Gainesville area, you know about Celebration Point. It's where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Visor's Rooftop, Dave & Buster's, Regal Cinema, Hotel Indigo, Sensei Asian Bistro, Escapology, and the HBC's restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Tuesday at Spurrier's you can enjoy 50% off handcrafted martinis from 4 until 10. That's every Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. We'll see you at Celebration Point, where Gators come to celebrate. Also, want to thank my buddy Chris Doring. Chris Doring Mortgage. At Chris Doring Mortgage, they do mortgage lending right. They've been doing it right for a long time, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and throughout North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. That's the number to reach Chris Doring Mortgage. Trying to catch some Facebook Live comments here on the comment section to see if there's anything I want to jump into. John says Georgia would agree they keep ducking Texas A&M. I guess that's a football reference. It is a strange situation how since A&M came into the conference in the SEC in 2012, Georgia and A&M, I think they've only played once. I know they played in Athens. They've never played. Georgia has never gone to College Station. That is odd. Real odd. And if you go to that 366 that I talked about, I think that's perfect. I really think that is absolutely perfect to go to. Again, your 3 permanents. You would play the other half of the 12 that you don't play permanently this year to get to your 9, and then the following year you play the second half of the 12 you don't play, and you're seeing everybody. Then every several years you're going to everybody's place. I hope they adopt that. I really hope that they do adopt that. Let me go ahead and get to a fun part of the show I enjoyed, the This Day in Sports. And we'll throw this out, of course, presented by Comfort Temp at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat and schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill and the Florida heat far away. Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Call us today, 352-376-2366. And I promised a little baseball this day in sports, as we're in the baseball season, Major League Baseball season. This one surprised me a little bit. And I want to find the question where I wrote it down just to make sure. Here we go. This day in sports, 1992. Okay, let's take it back to 1992, Major League Baseball. Here's the question. I'll let you take a bit of a stab at it here. I know it's easy to look up, but I'll throw this out. This day in sports, presented by, of course, Comfort Tip. 1992 Major League Baseball question. Tell me on this day, which Major League franchise was the quickest to 1 million fans in a season. And I'll tell you, it happened 21 games into the season, 21 home games into the season. And this franchise, the year that they did it in 1992, they got to 1 million fans quicker than anybody. What franchise? They averaged 47,600. Obviously, they had several games that went probably in the 60s, so they had a big stadium. But that is the This Day in Sports Comfort Tip question of the day, and I'll just leave it out there for a second. I know they're easy to look up, but really surprised me. It really, really surprised me. Not the Yankees. Dan guesses the Braves, not the Braves. Good guess, because the Braves were really good. This really surprised me, and they did it in 21 games. Think about it. This date in sports history, 92, it's only May. You start playing baseball back then in April. So 21 home games in, this program, this franchise, topped 1 million fans faster than any franchise in the history of Major League Baseball. Not saying they had the most fans after the course of the season, but the quickest to 1 million. The Giants, Chris guessed, no, not the Braves, not the Giants. Charlie says Pittsburgh Pirates. No, not even with Barry Bonds back then. Cardinals, John, no, not correct. This one surprised me. It really did. So we've had Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Giants, Braves, Orioles. No. Comfort Temp, roughing them up. Leave it out there. Dodgers. No, it is not the Dodgers. Chris says Dodgers. No. They're taking pops at it. Thought it'd be so easy to look up now. It's a surprising one. I'm trying to tease you a little bit. Jeff comes in with the Orioles. That's not correct. Guessed twice. Comfort Temp boys are roughing them up out there today a little bit. Rangers. Chris says Rangers. Joseph says Rangers. No. Charlie says Seattle. No. Man, sound like a teacher when I was in school turning in guesses. Marlins. Lauren says Marlins. Remember how good the Marlins were way back? No, Lauren. No. White Sox. No. Dan Bond taking a second stab at it, hits it on the head. The Toronto Blue Jays. Remember how good they were? They were battling the Braves in those World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays, this date in history, in sports history, 1992, were the quickest Major League team to hit 1 million fans. They did it in 21 games. That is a pace of 47,600. The Toronto Blue Jays. How about that? Nice question. I got tomorrow's question. By the way, I'll be in tomorrow. I'm Terry Norvelle in for Shane Matthews. He's on business today and tomorrow. I've got tomorrow's question, Gator basketball related, and you're going to like it. You're going to like This Day in Sports tomorrow on the question on the show. Not that you didn't like this one. Toronto. Remember how good they were? Boy, they were good. Dave Steve, I believe, was one of the great pitchers, and was it Dave Stewart as well? And Steve and those guys, they were good. The Braves were good. That was a lot of fun when they got together. And Dan says he didn't look it up. Okay, you didn't look it up, Dan? Well, process of elimination, we rattled off about 80 teams there. As we go to break, though, we had a little fun on Friday, and I wanted, Buddy Martin was scheduled to be on today. Buddy couldn't be on, I guess. But he's one of the few horse racing aficionados that I know. I still want to know, and I've got a theory. Why the hell is Rich Strike, the Kentucky Derby winner, why is he not running in the Preakness? I got a theory. I'm assuming it has to do with his stud fee. My guess, because, I mean, what the hell else is this horse doing Saturday? Unless he's making money as champion horses do. But, I mean, the only theory, and I know nothing about horse racing, the only theory I have with why the Kentucky Derby winner is not running the second leg of the Triple Crown coming up Saturday is the owners are trying to protect his stud fee as a Kentucky Derby winner. My theory is if he goes out Saturday and ran in the Preakness and finished 9th or 10th or way back or dead last, I think that might knock down his stud fee as opposed to they take him on the stud circuit and say this is a Kentucky Derby winner and they don't kind of mar his record if he finishes terrible in the Preakness and or terrible in the the Belmont in several more weeks in June. That's the only theory I've got, is they're protecting his stud feed. Jeff says he's going to run in the Belmont. Why the hell wouldn't he? What the hell else is this horse doing Saturday? Is he going getting a mani-pedi? You got to run the damn horse. Got a chance to win the Triple Crown, for God's sake. You've already become the darling, and I get it. You may be trying. I'm telling you, they may be trying to. Jeff, maybe between now and the Belmont, which is like June 7th, maybe they're going to stud him and make a lot of money over those next several weeks. They just want to call him a Kentucky Derby winner, not the Preakness loser. I don't know. That's my theory. I'm not much of a horse aficionado, but that's my theory. Let's take our first break here on a Tuesday morning, May 17th. Terry Norvelle in for Shane Matthews. Want to remind you, I'll be in tomorrow. And JC, tomorrow, JC is back on the show. And you don't want to miss it. Trenton Torsia, my buddy Trenton Torsia, who knows college baseball as well as anybody. Trent played for the Mississippi State Bulldogs in the 80s when they went to the College World Series. He played on the Palmero Will Clark team. And matter of fact, Trent is in that Thunder and Lightning documentary that has aired for several years. Really good documentary on Mississippi State baseball, and in particular, Will Clark and Rafael Palmero. Trenton Torsia was a teammate of both those guys on that team. That team in '85 is considered the best team in college baseball to not win a national championship. But Trenton Torsia is in that documentary several times giving comments. We'll have Trent on tomorrow discussing some college baseball. You don't want to miss that. Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com and join us on Friday for our Peachland Dentistry JC and the QB weekend picks. And yes, they should be together Friday, JC and Shane, going at it like they do, like the old married couple that they are, and making their picks. So there you have it. Break time, halfway home on a Tuesday. Terry Norvelle sitting in for Shane Matthews. You are hooked up with Pot Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center. Chris Doring Mortgage. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, Aikido America, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith understands your joint pain.
It does not surprise me that there are a ton of people out there that's in pain.
That's why Emmitt is such a proponent of QC Kinetics, offering real lasting joint pain relief with non-surgical, all-natural biologic treatments.
Whether it's a joint pain, ankle pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain, hip pain, any kind of pain, the body eventually will break down when it's under that much stress.
That stress can cloud your judgment to the point that you'll just say yes to the scalpel or yes to another prescription of pain pills. But maybe it's time for a second opinion from QC Kinetics.
The reason why I would recommend this is because the natural biologics that QC Kinetics is providing you gives your body a chance to naturally heal itself.
Restorative, regenerative solutions are here. Get lasting relief and live your life.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550.
Welcome back on a Tuesday, May 17th edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. Terry Norvelle in for Shane Matthews. Shane will be back on Thursday. Tomorrow, JC and Trenton Torsia will join me. I'll host tomorrow as well. I'll have a lot of fun with JC the first half of the show, and then some deep, hard college baseball talk with Trenton Torsia, former Mississippi State college baseball player, a teammate of Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro at State, and a member of one of the Mississippi State teams that went to the College World Series. Trent really knows college baseball. Look forward to talking some ball with him tomorrow, along with talking some sports with JC. If you've got joint pain in your knees, shoulders, hip, or back that won't go away, you need to check out QC Kinetic for long-lasting relief. Not surgery, not drugs, or downtime. Schedule your free consultation at QC Kinetic. Right now, 352-400-4550. Again, contact QC Kinetic, 352-400-4550. And I will try and get this screen there a little better. There we go. Trying to move it around so I can be seen. That pretty face needs to be seen there, Evan Miller. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help you to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ograinsurance.com or call them at 352-240-1779. Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance. A couple things. Wanted to talk with Buddy a little bit about, this Phil Mickelson situation. I haven't dove too deep into it, but man, is he getting lambasted. Mickelson and his comments about the Saudis, and now the gambling stuff, and now supposedly he's in hiding and he should be, kind of, I don't know, defending his PGA championship, but just being Phil Mickelson as he is moving into that second phase of his career, post 50 years old. A lot of noise in the system around Phil Mickelson. Wow, where has it gone in 1 year? Mickelson, his life has turned upside down. Hope things turn around for him and no more bad stuff comes out. But Phil Mickelson, really strange situation. We've talked a lot about where college sports and where college football is going. One thing I think we all will agree on, that there's going to be a breaking away. The Big 65, I call it, the Power 5 will really become the Big 65-ish. We all know that's going to happen. I keep saying I've never been a big proponent for spring football. I don't think there's a huge market there. And first and foremost, I've said that for years because the NFL has determined that spring football doesn't have a money-making element. If the NFL has decided there's nothing in the spring, nobody knows how to make money and knows how to make money off football more than the NFL. I think it's a tough chore, any spring league, and I know they're coming back, and I hope they make it. I hope they all do, but I just think it's a tough chore. With that said, I only think two things could actually possibly survive when it comes to spring football. Anything to do with the NFL, but they've deemed it's not a moneymaker, I think, or existing college football. I think it's real tough to just be a startup and pop in with no history, no familiarity, and say, hey, look at us, we're this league or that league. I do think the group of five, if they're smart, they will immediately, when the break happens in college football, the group of five could move to the spring and survive. I think they could carve out a niche. I think you would have obviously built-in crowds. Now, the group of five, they don't pack in 90,000 and 85, but the group of five is solid. They will have stadiums that are full, and there's interest. And particularly nowadays with the portal, with guys moving Power 5, group of five back and forth, there will be enough recognizable names. I think the group of five would be very, very smart to immediately, when the breakup happens, take their games and play in the spring. I think they would get much more coverage, and it would be a good move for the group of five. That's what I would do if I was running that level of college football. You know it's coming. The Big 65 are going to break away. I would not just keep getting bashed in the head in terms of coverage in the fall. NFL, once the Power 65 get going, man, those games are going to eat everything up. All the interest is going to be there. I think it would be a smart move for the group of 5 to play in the spring. Be tough to swing it that first year. How do you do it? Do you end your season in the fall and then play a couple more months later? You'll have to kind of have a short off season 1 year. But man, oh man, that's exactly what I would do if I was their commissioner. That is exactly what I would do. There you go. My thoughts on that. NBA playoffs. I don't follow the NBA that much. The game has changed so much to me. The NBA looks like 5 individual one-on-one games going on at times. I like more of a team concept, but they've been interesting now. They're down to the Final Four. Some upsets I think have helped the last couple of weeks. Being a casual NBA fan, very casual, I did think Milwaukee would win, and I think most people thought Phoenix would win. So a couple of upsets, I think, have helped the NBA going into the Final Four. You've got Dallas, Golden State, you've got Boston, and Miami. So the NBA, I think those upsets were good. For the NBA. Don't follow it real well, and I know it's not top of mind for most people unless you're a hardcore NBA fan. But yeah, interesting the way some of that has played out. You saw Giannis. My goodness, I mean, how many times could he score 40 and carry his team? And it caught up with him. They didn't have anybody to help out. And Milwaukee, they're home now. They're home because of that. Boston, great contributions from several people, including Horford has helped out in the playoffs greatly. Grant Williams had the huge game the other night for Boston. What about Boston? What were they down 3-2, having blown a 14-point second half lead, and you thought that thing's over? They are not coming back, and they are not winning 2 in a row. And damn if they didn't. Damn, and I know there was an injury involved with Milwaukee, but damn if they didn't. I want to get to a topic that we started on Friday. I know some people are tired of it, but I wanted to carry it on. I was going to get Buddy Martin's opinion on some things. Where college sports and college football is going. I've got grave concerns. I'm all for the concepts that are being introduced and being implemented, but I don't know if they're not going to hurt college sports and college football. My big correlation and the big worry is comparing what's going on with college sports and college football to what happened to the Olympics. I think the Olympics are the perfect correlation. The Olympics, they blurred the line. They changed what they were. They changed their individuality, and it killed the Olympics. The Olympics, they lost the essence of what they were. They lost their uniqueness, and I worry about that with college football. You also wonder, several things have popped up. I think we are absolutely going to have college football. They're going to have to make the players employees. I think that the more I've thought about this over a year, I mean, everybody racks their brain. We've all got theories. We all have things we want to happen, we hope don't happen. The more I've put thought into this, and I mean just racking my brain, I think the only way that it can survive to a degree is the players have to become employees. The players then will form a union. And if the players become employees, the NCAA or whatever other alphabet soup organization takes over. There's got to be an organization that has jurisdiction. The NCAA has no legal jurisdiction. Their hands are tied. The NCAA can come out today, tomorrow, next week, and have a press release and say, we are implementing a salary cap on the players, what they can earn, NIL, university induced, blah, 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 a salary cap. That will last as long as the first player goes to court. The NCAA right now, because in the structure, they are now overseeing 500,000 independent contractors with no jurisdiction. I think the only way you can put a salary cap is if the players become employees, the universities pay them, and the players obviously a union would be the next thing. They would absolutely form a union. That would be understood. And then you've got some jurisdiction, which is why not having jurisdiction is why the NCAA has asked Congress for help. The NCAA doesn't set laws of the land. Congress sets laws of the land. The NCAA is handcuffed right now with no jurisdiction. You also wonder, and I threw this out, we didn't get into it, when they become employees, and I think that's going to happen, when they become employees, it's not going to be far down the road when some players start going, wait a minute, we're pro football players. And they are. When they become employees, hell, they are now because they're earning income. When they become employees, it's not going to be far down the road when players are going to say, you know, this student thing, why are we doing this? Why is this student component has got to go? We are pro football players. When that happens, once they become employees, if you're the universities, why then would you pay for housing? Why then would you pay for food? Why would you pay for education? Think about it. A major university has probably 5,000 employees. If the football players in this example, if they become employees, I think they have to. It's the only way you can get legal jurisdiction to start putting some regulations on how you can run the college football employees. Why would the universities pay for housing, food, education? The other 5,000 employees on campus, when their day is over, they go home to a house they're either paying a mortgage or paying rent. They go to the food that they bought at the grocery store. The university doesn't pay the employees housing and food. I think that will be the next step. The student part will be gone. The colleges will basically be using athletics as an advertising tool to promote their schools to increase, I guess, attendance when it comes down to it. You also, here's another concern. And this bridge has to be crossed. If they become employees, if the players, in this case, football players, become employees, okay, the universities are paying them a salary, an employee salary. What's the first thing that the universities will do? And this comes directly from Business 101. The first thing that the universities will do is eliminate payroll as much as they can. Obviously, every business in the world wants to trim as much fat. They want to still be operational and functional, but what is the smallest number of employees we can get to function our business? And to me, if they stay with scholarships, the first thing they're going to do is go from 85 to about 55. You're going to lop and knock out 30 scholarship athletes. You can't tell me the universities, if they still have to scholarship these athletes and feed these athletes and house them and pay them as employees, the first thing you do is Business 101, you cut your payroll as much as you can and still be functional. What will happen to those 30 athletes, those 30 student athletes? If you go from 85 to 55, colleges are going to say, hey, man, we got to get this number down. We're paying everybody. We're paying them all. We got to get it down to the lowest number that we can still function. I'm sorry, 30 student athletes in football, you're gone. Good luck. Do the math. There are 130 programs out there, Division I football programs. If you lop off 30, that's right at 4,000 student athletes that are spinning in the wind. A lot of layers to all this. There is a lot of layers and not just one simple answer. I'll tell you another thing that nobody has brought up. No one. And I'm like, where did this go? Do you guys remember the cost of attendance? That got passed like 4 or 5 years ago. Each school can determine their individual payout to their student athletes, a cost of attendance, right? Has anybody heard of that? You got to believe if they go to employees, that's gone. You got to wipe that out. The universities will use that as kind of their part of their pay. But cost of attendance, nobody has brought that up. Where did it go? Where did cost of attendance go? Man, is it changing. I'll sum it up like I did on Friday. NIL portal. I'm totally for both of those. I agree 2,000%. NIL portal. Go earn you some money. Name, image, likeness. Portal. Move around. You deserve it. Coaches can do it with no penalty. I am 2,000% supportive of NIL and portal. My issue is 2 words: concept, implementation. Yes, I totally agree with the concept of NIL. I don't know if it can be implemented without causing more problems than it was designed to do. Same with the portal. I am 2,000% pro portal for the players. The concept I love. I worry, can it be implemented? I used some examples on Friday, and I'll use them again in case you missed. Title IX, staying in college athletics. Title IX. Everybody agrees with the premise. The concept of Title IX is both genders deserve the same opportunity at scholarships and to pursue their education via their scholarship sport of choice. Male and female equality. Everybody agrees with Title IX. The concept, I'm right there. I mean, everybody agrees with. The issue with Title IX is not the concept. The issue is the implementation. Title IX, since it was enacted in, what was it, 71, 2, 3, early 70s, Title IX has been an absolute disaster financially for the universities. It has been an absolute disaster. Great concept, great idea. Sometimes you just can't implement things. They just can't get implemented. I used another non-sports example Friday. I'll throw it out again. Welfare. The concept, and before you laugh, think about this. The concept of welfare. Most people agree with the concept. The issue with welfare, using this as an example, implementation. It gets abused. The system gets played. Concept, yes. Implementation, no. That's my big concern with the NIL and portal and the way things are changing in college sports / college athletics. Another example is one thing I want to point out is, do you think, I'll throw this out, do you think all these changes from the fans' perspective, okay, the college sports, college football fan, do you think all of these changes that are coming up, that have been implemented recently and are coming up down the road, will that increase the popularity of college football or decrease? I don't think this will at all increase. I don't think people are out there going, man, now that they're getting some money, now that they're able to have some mobility, now I'm really a fan of college football. And 5% increase in viewership, in donations, 10%, 8%. I don't think any increase is going to happen because of this. Here's the spinoff. Might there be a decrease? Might a percentage of the fans that are now here in and around college football, might they say, I'm not into this. This is just pro sports. I'm just not into this. The essence of college football is gone. Getting back to the Olympics, the line of demarcation is gone. I'm just not into this anymore. Might the college football fan, 5%, 6%, 8%, might they just walk away? Might they say, I'm not into it? I think there's a better chance that you may lose fans than gain fans with what's going on. That's my thought. But think about that. A 5% loss of viewership a 5% loss of, you know what, I'm not sending donations in anymore. They don't even go to class, or they make their own money. They're professional athletes. I'm not sending donations in. I used to feel good. It made me feel good to send in some money and say, this, I want to go to student athletes to help them, to help the athletic department. If there's even a 5% decrease, that'll be felt. That'll be felt. That's another concern of mine. The moves that are being made, I don't think will increase the popularity. It very well might, to a degree, decrease the popularity. That's just my thought. There are a lot of levels and layers to this onion. It is not just that easy. Probably the biggest thing that chaps me when I hear people, fans, talking about the first thing that needs to be done with the NIL, they've got to put a cap on what these players can earn. They've got to put a salary cap. The NFL does it, and that's how they do checks and balances. And they've got to put a stop to all the tampering. Cap and tampering. You hear that constantly when you're out and about and talking about NIL. They use the NFL as the example. They've got caps. You can only earn so much. Number one, the NFL players are employees. They are part of a union. There's jurisdiction there. They negotiate back and forth because they are part of an organization that can. They're not 500,000 independent contractors. That's how it's done. The NCAA has no jurisdiction right now. They can try. They can put out a release. As I said, the first player that says this is crazy, we're taking it to court, they'll lose until they get some jurisdiction, which is why, unfortunately, Congress is going to have to get involved and pass some laws and give them some jurisdiction. Remember this. Everybody bashes the NCAA. It's easy to do. They bash the NCAA. They bash Mark Emmert, and I do it at times, and they deserve it at times. But wipe out the NCAA, get a new leader. Wipe out the NCAA, get a new leader. As it stands right now, all you're going to do, if you wipe out the NCAA and replace it with Gene Smith, had that idea, the Ohio State athletic director, put the college committee in charge. Okay, they'll just be a new alphabet soup. It won't be NCAA. It'll be some new alphabet soup title. And if they have no jurisdiction, they won't be able to get anything done either. They've got to have power of the pen, jurisdiction. We'll see where it goes. Let's now take our final break, come back, wrap up today's show, and set tomorrow's show. I'm Terry Norvelle, sitting in for Shane Matthews. It's a Tuesday edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait
Ironwood
Media,
Golf Course,
Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
That's just about going to wrap up a Tuesday, May 17th edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning. Terry Norvelle sitting in for Mr. Shane Matthews, and I'll be in again tomorrow. Shane's got a lot of business taken care of, and he'll be back on Thursday. So as we wrap up today's show, let me preview tomorrow. JC will be right back on the show. Look forward to talking to my buddy John Cornell and getting his opinion on a lot of these topics as we'll have a Wednesday midweek edition. First half of the show tomorrow, JC is in. Second half of the show, we go heavy college baseball. Trenton Torsia, former Mississippi State baseball player who has played in the College World Series. Trent, a former teammate at State of Rafael Palmeiro and Will Clark, two of the best to play in college and two really good major leaguers as well, Hall of Famers, Hall of Fame level players. Trent was a teammate. Trent was on that 30 for 30 Thunder and Lightning documentary about that mid-'80s Mississippi State team of which he was a member. Trenton Torsia in tomorrow, our college baseball analyst, kind of breaking down the end of the regular season as the baseball boys will head into their tournaments, their conference tournaments, and then we'll know who's going where very soon as college baseball will follow college softball into the playoffs. Remember, Florida State baseball tonight, feel-good game, not real important. You want to beat your rival, of course. Both teams kind of are what they are. I don't think they can do a whole lot to change their seeding unless they win their conference tournament. So feel-good rivalry game tonight, Florida State in baseball. Gator softball Friday 4:30. They open up regional play at home in Gainesville, and you want to keep an eye, Gator fans, Gator Nation. You want to keep an eye on the Blacksburg softball regional. That is the regional that Gainesville is paired up with. So if Florida can win their regional here in Gainesville, if the Gators can get through, and if Virginia Tech gets upset, the Gators still have a chance at a super regional. So you kind of want to peek and hope Virginia Tech gets knocked off. They're having a big year in softball, or the Hokies. They're I think they're a solid top 10 team along with their baseball. Boy, it looks funny to see Virginia Tech softball and baseball ranked so high, but they are having good regular seasons. We'll see how that translates into postseason play. That'll wrap it up. Remember, JC and Trenton Torsia join me, Terry Norvelle, tomorrow as I will fill in for Shane tomorrow. Matthews back on Thursday hosting Pot Up with Matthews in the morning. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow, Wednesday morning on Pot Up with Matthews in the morning.
Trying to get the fans fired up. 2nd down and 10. Matthews rolling to his right, in trouble, can't find anyone. Now he throws it for Harrison Houston, who makes the catch. He's in the open field. Harrison to the 20. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, Gators!